This is my Sigma FP, and as you can see, it's heavily modified with parts from the Dark Power Labs catalog. I'm not affiliated with this company, I just really like their product. One day while scrolling through the Sigma FP Facebook groups, I found their product and they just took my money. It solved a lot of the problems that the Sigma FP has. And in my opinion, this is the absolute best setup to use when recording to an SSD with the Sigma FP. There are many ways to rig up your camera for whatever use case it might be, but I think this combination is the most versatile to get high quality shots for my personal projects. Let's take a closer look at my rig. All the parts in this video will have links in the description if you'd like to go and purchase them. Beware, some of them are affiliate links. Starting with the core of this camera rig is the cage. I'm a big fan of the design of this cage. It's very minimal and doesn't take up a lot of space on the camera. And the fact that Dark Power Labs designed it to work perfectly in their ecosystem with the rest of their parts is really cool. Now the SSD I decided to go with for this rig is the Samsung 980 Pro, which is a 4th generation NVMe offering speeds up to 6,000 megabits of read and write, which is way beyond what this camera is capable of outputting to the USB port, but I would rather have more power than less. The SSD caddy has a tiny fan on it, which automatically comes on to manage the heat coming from this SSD, which is not very loud, and you can hear a demonstration of this here. You can barely hear it. Secondly, the main thing you can see and notice from this camera rig is the tilting monitor. The tilt screen monitor mod was very nerve-wracking when I was first installing it, but you get everything you need to do the job, and it takes a lot of patience, but once it's done, it works perfectly fine, and I can't believe Sigma designed the camera without having a tilt screen. The battery grip is one of the main products that has increased the usability of the Sigma FP for me. This allowed me to use MPF batteries, which increase the runtime of the camera while recording 12-bit 4K RAW. Typically during one of my shoots, I'm usually changing 2 to 3 batteries, which is significantly better than carrying around 5 different batteries that these tiny cameras come with. Now, at the top of the camera, I have the external monitor, and the monitor that I have right now that is 5 inches is the Portuguese BM5 monitor. However, I'd like to one day upgrade to the new Small HD Indy 5 or the Blackmagic Video Assist 12G. My favorite HDMI cables and SDI cables to use comes from ZI LR Pro. I've never known how to say that name right, but this is a company from Australia and they make really good products. I've been using their HDMI cables and SDI cables for years now. Lastly, the top handle is from SmallRig, pretty basic. I really like the size of it because it doesn't really make the camera too cumbersome. Then I also have the SmallRig AirTag mount, which is pretty simple, and I really like being able to actually keep track of my gear. As far as filtration goes, I'm using the Abracam matte box, which is made by a small company in France actually. I really like this matte box. The main thing I like about this matte box is the amount of filters I can stack in it, as well as having a large 4-inch circular polarizing filter that I can put in the back. Now, as far as lenses that I use with this camera, I have a variety of lenses that I use. I have the 7 Artisan Cine lens set. Then I also have my Canon 24-105 and 17-40. Then I also have a pair of Mikey photo lenses, which I will be doing a review on, so if you'd like to see that, please hit the subscribe button. Overall, I love this rig, and I have used it on many of my projects now. I took this camera with me to Ecuador, and at the time I had an alternative SSD setup from Dark Power Labs. However, because of the size of this caddy, there's a limited amount of SSDs available that can perform well enough to give me a consistent performance while shooting RAW on the Sigma FP. These SSDs would overheat at times, and you can hear a very loud coil whine sound coming from the Sigma FP, and it would also get picked up in the camera. There's just not a lot of SSDs that are made in the size for this type of caddy. That is why I recommend getting the larger NVMe setup from Dark Power Labs if you do decide to get their SSD products. I think this is the best one to get because you have more options when it comes to SSDs that will actually perform well enough to give you a consistent performance. Let me know in the comments what you think I could improve on this rig, and I hope I was able to give you some insights on the possibilities of rigging your Sigma FP. If you want to see my favorite feature about the Sigma FP, go watch this video here where I explain how important it is for cinematographers to understand EL Zoom.